Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, March 10th, 2022. Today I'm going to recap the college basketball, NBA, and NHL games from last night and look ahead to today's games in each sport. We'll recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer. We'll go over the early leaderboard for the Players' Championship, news and notes, and best bet of the day. We're going to start in college basketball. We'll recap all the games from last night, which was a busy day, and today's even busier. Alrighty, so without further ado, here we go. Big Sky first round, Sac State over Idaho, 57-54. ACC second round, Syracuse over Florida State, 96-57. A-10 first round, LaSalle over St. Joe, 63-56. MWC first round, Nevada over New Mexico, 79-72. Big Sky first round, Portland State over Idaho State, 66-52. ACC second round, BC over Wake, 82-77. In overtime, Wake's done. They're not making the tournament. Pac-12 first round, Stanford over Arizona State, 71-70. SWAC quarterfinal, Texas Southern over Jackson State, 54-50. A-10 first round, Rhode Island over Duquesne, 79-77. MWC first round, Utah State over Air Force, 83-56. Big East first round, Butler over Xavier, 89-82. In overtime, Big Sky first round, Eastern Washington over Northern Arizona, 78-75. Pac-12 first round, Oregon State over Oregon, 86-72. SEC first round, Mizzou over Ole Miss, 72-60. Southland first round, Houston Baptist over Incarnate Word, 74-64. MEAC quarterfinal, Norfolk State over Delaware State, 74-66. Northwestern over Nebraska, 71-69. CUSA second round, Rice over Charlotte, 73-61. CUSA second round, La Tech over Marshall, 77-67. MWC first round, Fresno State over San Jose State, 69-67 in overtime. Big 12 first round, West Virginia over Kansas, 73-67. America East semifinal, UMBC over Hartford, 80-60. America East semifinal, Vermont over Binghamton, 74-42. ACC second round, Virginia Tech over Clemson, 76-75 in overtime on a buzzer beater shot by Darius Maddox. Rider over Iona, 71-70 in the MAC quarterfinal. That's a bad loss for Rick Pitino. Patriot League final, Colgate over Navy, 74-58. So Colgate's going dancing. Big East first round, St. John's over DePaul, 92-73. SEC first round, Vandy over Georgia, 86-51. Southland first round, McNeese over Northwestern State, 80-67. MEAC quarterfinal, Coppin State over Howard, 59-57. Big Ten first round, Penn State over Minnesota, 60-51. CUSA second round, UTEP over Old Dominion, 74-64. Pac-12 first round, Wazoo over Cal, 66-59. WAC second round, Sam Houston over Hal Baptist, 65-35. CUSA second round, FA over Southern Miss, 86-59. SWAC quarterfinal, Alcorn State over Prairie View, 64-63 in overtime. MAC quarterfinal, St. Peter's over Fairfield, 77-63. ACC second round, Virginia over Louisville, 51-50. Big East first round, Seton Hall over Georgetown, 57-53. Pac-12 first round, Washington over Utah, 82-70. And WAC second round, App Christian over Utah Valley, 82-74. Today's window is a little bit bigger. MAC quarterfinal, Mid-American. Central Michigan and Toledo. All right, projections. Toledo 7 1/8, total 146.5. And we got Toledo by 15.5, total 146. Slight over. 11:30, Big Ten Network, Indiana, Michigan. Michigan 2 1/4, total 139 and 9/10, and it's 3 136.5. Over. 12 o'clock. ACC quarterfinal. Syracuse number 7 Duke. Duke 9 7/8, total 149 and a fifth, and it is 15 149.5. I'm going to take Syracuse in the points. I think that Jim Boeheim's going to have his team competitive. Oh, I didn't even adjust this. No Buddy Boeheim. He's out. He's worth some points for Syracuse, so I have to take a point off. Even without Boeheim, I'm going to take Syracuse. 5 Fox Sports 1 Big East quarterfinal. Butler, number 11, Providence. Providence 8 1/4, total 135 and 1/20th, and it is 7.5 and 127. Over. SEC second round, SEC Network, Florida, Texas A&M. My projection, Florida by 3/4, total 137 and 65 hundredths, and it is 2.5 and 133.5. Over. USA Network, Atlantic 10 second round, George Mason, Florida. My projection is Mason by 4 1/8, total 137 and a fifth, and it's 5.5 and 130.5. Over. Big 12 quarterfinal, TCU number 22, Texas, ESPN 2, 12:30. Projection, Texas by 5 5/8, total 130 and 65 hundredths, and it is 5.5 and 125.5. Over. 1 o'clock, ESPNU, AAC first round, East Carolina, Cincinnati. Projection, Cincinnati by 5 1/8, total 137 and 85 hundredths, and it's 5 and 136.5. Slight over. 1:30, MAC quarterfinal, Buffalo, Akron. Projection, Buffalo 1 3/8, total 143 and a tenth, and it's 2.5 and 141.5. Slight over. 2 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Big Ten second round, Northwestern number 24, Iowa. Against, I should say. Iowa by 5 7/8, total 147 and 9/10, and it's 8 and 147. I'm taking Northwestern in the points to keep it close. SEC second round, SEC Network, Mizzou, LSU. Projection, LSU by 10 5/8, total 147 or 141 and 7/10. And it's 10.5 and 133.5. I'm going to take the over. Sac State, Montana State. Projection, Montana State by 11 1/4, total, or 11 5/8, total 139 85 hundredths. It's a Big Sky quarterfinal, and we got 9.5 and 133.5. Over. 2:30, ESPN2, BC Miami, ACC quarterfinal. Projection, Miami 10 1/8, total 148 and 3/10. 8 and 137 is at. I'll go over. USA A10 second round, LaSalle, St. Louis. Projection, St. Louis by 14 1/4, total 141 and 19/20ths, and it is 11 and 139. I'm going to lay the points with St. Louis. Big East quarterfinal, Marquette, Creighton. My projection is Creighton 2 1/4, total 140 and 65 hundredths. And it's Marquette by 3, total 142 and a half. Oh my God, the wrong team's favorite. Give me Creighton plus 3 and plus 126 to win outright. 3 o'clock, Pac-12 quarterfinal, Stanford and number 2, Arizona. Projection, Zona by 12 1/8, total 142 and 3/4. And it's 15.5 and 144.5. I'm going to take Stanford getting all the points. ESPN, Big 12 quarterfinal, West Virginia, number 6, Kansas. Projection, Kansas by 7 7/8, total 142 and a tenth, and it's 9 and 146.5. Under. AAC first round, ESPNU. Tulsa, Wichita State. My projection for this game is Wichita 7, total 135 and 85 hundredths, and it's 6 and 132.5. Over. Grambling Southern, SWAC quarterfinal. Projection, Southern 5.5, total 138 and 4/5, and it's 6 and 137. Slight over. Bakersfield, Long Beach State, Big West quarterfinal. Projection, Long Beach 4 1/8, total 137 65 hundredths, and it's 5 and 135. Over. CBS Sports Network, MWC quarterfinal, Nevada, Boise State. Projection, Boise 7, total 137 and 7/10, and it's 6 and 136. Slight over. 4 o'clock, MAC quarterfinal, Miami of Ohio, Kent State. Projection, Kent 7, total 142 and 7/20ths. And it is 6.5 and 139.5. Over. 4:30, Big Sky quarterfinal, Montana and Weber State. Projection, Weber by 3, total 143 and 9/10ths. And it's 3.5 and 140.5. Over. 5:30, Pac-12 Network. Pac-12 quarterfinal, Oregon, Colorado. Projection, Oregon by 1 1/8 total. Or I'm sorry, 1 5/8 total, 139 and 85/100ths. And it's 1 and 139.5. This is tough. I'm going to say the slightest of slights on the over. UNLV, Wyoming, CBS Sports Arc, M-Dub quarterfinal. Projection, Wyoming by only 5/8, total 137 and 1/5. That's because UNLV is home. And it's 1 and 135.5. Slight over. Big West quarterfinal, Santa Barbara, Irvine. Projection, Irvine by 3/4, total 130 and 3/4. And we got Barbara 1 1/2, total 125.5. Going with the over. 6 o'clock, SEC Network, SEC second round, Mississippi State, South Carolina. Projection, Miss State by 1/2, total 139.5. And it's 4 and 137.5. I'm taking South Carolina plus the 4. Houston Baptist, Corpus Christi, Southland quarterfinal. Projection, Corpus Christi 7 and 7/8, total 148 and 3/4. And it's 5.5 and 143.5. Over. MEAC quarterfinals, SC State, Morgan State. Projection, Morgan State by 5 and 5/8, total 144 and 1/5. And it's 4.5 and 144.5. Slight Morgan State. USA A-10 second round, UMass George Washington. Projection, George Washington 3 and 3/8, total 146 and 1/5. And it's UMass by 3, total 147.5. George Washington should be favored. I'm taking them plus the 3 and plus 128 to win. Next up, Rice and North Texas. Wait a minute. I think I had a line incorrect. That line was supposed to be UMass by 3 and 3/8, not George Washington. Yeah, that projection was incorrect. So instead, I'm going to go with the slight under. All right, so where we left off, Rice, North Texas, 6:30, it's USA quarterfinal. Projection here is North Texas by 7 and 7/8, total 134 and 3/4. And it's 10.5 and 126.5. Over. Ball State, Ohio, MAC quarterfinal. Projection, Ohio by 10 and 8, total 146 and 2/5. And it's 8 and 146.5. I'm going to lay the points with Ohio. Big Ten Network, Big Ten second round, Maryland, Michigan State. Projection, Michigan State by 4 1/4, total 140 and 9/10. And it's 2.5 and 139.5. And we'll go with the slight Michigan State. 7 o'clock, ESPN, Oklahoma, number 3, Baylor, Big 12 quarterfinal. Projection, Baylor 10.5, total 136 and 95/100ths. And it is Baylor 8, total 135.5. Laying the 8 with Baylor. Fox Sports 1, Big East quarterfinal. St. John's number 8, Villanova from the Garden. Projection, Villanova by 4 7/8, total 145 and 19/20. It's that low because St. John's technically home here. Projection is 6 and 148.5. Under. It's USA quarterfinal, La Tech, Western Kentucky. Projection, La Tech 3, total 145 and 9/20. And we got... For some reason, I don't see this one. La Tech by 1, total 146.5. I'm going to one with La Tech. ESPNU, AAC first round, South Florida UCF projection. UCF by 9, total 130 and 7/20. And we got 9 and 126 over. Metro Atlantic quarterfinal, Quinnipiac Siena. Projection. Siena by 3 and 3/8, total 139 and 7/20. And we got Quinnipiac's 1.5 favorite, total 139. That's not right. That is way off. Give me Siena plus the 1.5. They're going to win outright. ESPN2, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame. ACC quarterfinal. Projection. Notre Dame by 1 and 3/8, total 134 and 3/4. And it's Virginia Tech 1.5, total 130.5. Give me the over. Portland State, Southern Utah, Big Sky quarterfinal. Projection. Southern Utah by 8 and 3/8, total 147 and 1/5. And it's 5.5 and 145.5. Laying the points. 8 o'clock, UMass, NC Central. Projection. NC Central 10.5, total 136 and 4/10. And it's 2.5 and 131.5. I'm laying the points with Central. SEC Network, Vandy, Bama, SEC second round. Projection. Bama 6 and 3/4, total 146 and 3/5. And it's 5.5 and 147. Slight, Alabama. McNeese, New Orleans, 8:30, Southland quarterfinal. Projection. New Orleans 9, total 152 and 9/10. And it's 3.5 and 150.5. Laying the 3.5 in New Orleans. USA A-10 second round. Richmond, Rhode Island. Projection. Richmond 6 and 3/8, total 137. And it's 5 and 133.5. Over. 9 o'clock, Pac-12 Network, Pac-12 quarterfinal. Wazoo, number 13 UCLA. Projection. UCLA by 8 and 3/8, total 139 and 1/10. And 7.5 and 132.5. Over. MWC quarterfinal. Utah State, Colorado State. Number 23, Colorado State, I should say. Projection. Colorado State by 8 and 5/8, total 140 and 4/5. And it's 3 and 138.5. Laying the points with Colorado State. Love that pick. It's USA quarterfinal. Utah, Middle Tennessee. Projection. Middle by 1/4, total 137 and 2/5. And it is middle. It's middle 3, total 135. So I'm going to take UTEP getting the 3. Davis Fullerton, Big 12 quarterfinal. Projection. Davis by 3/8, total 135 and 9/20. And it is 2.5 and 134.5. So give me Davis plus the 2.5 and plus 116 straight up. As Fullerton's favored here. As they should be. Really, they've had a better year, but my numbers say Davis. Big 10 Network, Big 10 second round. Penn State, Ohio State. Projection. Ohio State 9, total 135 and 17/20. And it is it 17/20? 85/100. Whatever that fraction turns out to be. And it's 5 and 130.5. I'm going to take the over to be safe. WAC quarterfinal, Sam Houston, Grand Canyon. Projection. Canyon 7 1/8, total 130 and 7/10. And it's 2.5, 123.5. Over. 9:30, ESPN2, Big 12 quarterfinal, Iowa State and number 14, Texas Tech. Projection, Tech by 6.25, total 131 and 11/20, and it's 7.5 and 135.5. Over. Fox Sports 1, Seton Hall, UConn, Big East quarterfinal. Projection, UConn 2, total 140 and a fifth, and it's 3.5 and 135. Over. I should say number 23 UConn, or 20 UConn, and number 14 Texas Tech. 9:30 ESPN, Virginia, number 25 North Carolina, ACC quarterfinal. Projection, Carolina 3.5, total 137.25, and it's 4.5 and 133.5. Over. CUSA quarterfinal, FAU UAB. Projection, UAB by 7 5/8, total 143 and 7/10, and it is 5.5 and 144.5. I'm going to lay the points at UAB. Bama A&M, Florida A&M, SWAC quarterfinal. Projection, Florida A&M by 4 1/8, total 130 and 9/10, and it's 2 and 124.5. Over. Niagara, Monmouth, MAC quarterfinal. Projection, Monmouth 10, total 134 and 3/5, and it's 2 and 128. I'm related to with Monmouth. 10 o'clock, Eastern Washington, Northern Colorado, Big Sky quarterfinal. Projection, UNC, the other UNC by 1.5, total 153 and 3/10, and it is 2.5 and 158.5. Under. 11:30, Fox Sports 1, Washington, number 21 USC. Projection, USC 11, total 141 and 7/20, and it is 5.5 and 141.5. Laying the points with USC. CBS Sports Network MWC quarterfinal, Fresno, San Diego State. Projection, San Diego State by 7, total 124 and a fifth, and it's 5 and 113.5. I'm going to take the over. Big West quarterfinal, Riverside, Hawaii. Projection, Riverside by 2 1/8, total 131, and it's 2 and 126.5. That's an over. And last but not least, WAC quarterfinal, App Christian, Stephen F. Austin. Projection, Stephen F. Austin 1.5, total 141 and 3/4, and it's 2 and 141.5. I'm going to do slight Abilene Christian, but I really don't like that pick. All right, NBA, very quickly, we'll go over the games from last night, and we'll go over today's games and make some picks. Celtics over the Hornets, 115-101. Bulls over the Pistons, 114-108. Suns over the Heat, 111-90. Bucks over the Hawks, 124-115. Lakers lose at the Rockets, 139-130 in overtime. Timberwolves over the Thunder, 132-102. Magic over the Pelicans, 108-102. Raptors over the Spurs, 119-104. Knicks over the Mavs, 107-77. Jazz over the Blazers, 123-85. Nuggets over the Kings, 106-100. And Clips over the Wiz, 115-109. 2 games tonight, TNT doubleheader, 7:30 first. Nets 76ers. James Harden against his former team. The Nets are purposely sitting Ben Simmons in this game because Ben Simmons is afraid of playing back in Philly. My projection is Sixers by 7.5. Total of 228.5. And it is 4 and 233.5. 4 and 233.5. Under. And then Warriors Nuggets projections, pick in 238 and 4/5. And it's Golden State by 2, total 226.5. Steph's back. I like the over in this spot. All right, NHL. We'll recap the games from last night and look ahead to tonight's slate and which is a bigger window. Oilers over the Capitals 4-3 in overtime on an overtime winner by Connor McDavid, and the Canucks over the Canadiens 5-3. All right, big window tonight. 7 o'clock, Blackhawks Bruins. So the 2013 Stanley Cup Final rematch. Some of the same players are still on those teams. Boston's minus 285, Chicago's plus 230, over under 5.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Chicago plus 1.5 is minus 105. Bruins minus 1.5 is minus 115. I'm going to go with Chicago plus 1.5 to keep it competitive at minus 105. Golden Knights Sabres, the return of Jack Eichel. Vegas is minus 230, Buffalo plus 188, over under 6.5, overs minus 104, others minus 118. Vegas minus 1.5 is plus 110. Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 134. I'm going to go Vegas puck line minus 1.5 and plus 110. Coyotes Maple Leafs. Leafs minus 420, Coyotes plus 320, over under 6.5. Overs minus 130, unders plus 106. Coyotes plus 2.5 is minus 144. Maple Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 118. I'm going to go under 6.5 and plus 106 here, for the sole reason being of value. Kraken Senators. Sens minus 128, Kraken plus 106, over under 5.5, overs minus 120, others minus 102. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 215. Sens minus 1.5 is plus 172. I'm going to go with the Kraken as a home or a road underdog at plus 106 to win outright. Wild Red Wings. Wild minus 178, Red Wings plus 146, over under 6.5, overs minus 120, others minus 102. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 134. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 164. I'm going to go with the Wild in regulation at minus 115 here. Flyers Panthers. Panthers minus 375, Flyers plus 290, over under 6.5, overs minus 130, unders plus 106. Flyers plus 2.5 is minus 144. Panthers minus 2.5 is plus 218. Oh my God. I'm going to go again with an under. Don't feel good about it. Maybe the Flyers don't score a lot of goals. Maybe this is like a 4-2 game. So under 6.5 at plus 106. Jets Devils. Jets minus 122, Devils plus 102, over under 7, overs plus 116, unders minus 142. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 186, Devils plus 1.5 is minus 240. I'm going to go New Jersey as a home dog at plus 102. Game of the night, Avalanche Hurricanes. Why isn't this the ESPN Plus Hockey Night game? Avs minus 111, Canes minus 108, over under 6, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Avs minus 1.5 is plus 210. Canes plus 1.5 is minus 265. Here's a chance to bet against the Avs. I'm going with Carolina minus 108 at home. Statement win. 7:30 Blue Jackets Islanders. Isles minus 164. Columbus plus 116. Over under 6. Overs plus 104. Unders minus 128. Jackets plus 1.5 is minus 178. Islanders minus 1.5 is plus 144. Let's go with Columbus plus 136 as a road underdog. 8 o'clock Rangers Blues. Blues minus 126, Rangers plus 105, over under 5.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 250, Blues minus 1.5 is plus 198. Igor Shesterkin should be back in goal for this game. I'm going to go with the Rangers to bounce back at plus 105 on the road in St. Louis. Ducks Preds. Preds minus 194, Ducks plus 160, over under 5.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 164. Preds minus 1.5 is plus 134. I'm going to go with the under. Contrarian under because of the goalies. 9 o'clock, Lightning Flames. That's another good game. Lightning minus 115, Flames minus 105, over under 6, overs minus 118, others minus 104. Lightning plus 1.5 is minus 280. Flames minus 1.5 is plus 220. I'm going with the Flames as a home underdog. And last but not least, 10:30, Sharks Kings. Kings minus 215, Sharks plus 176, over under 5.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 148, Kings minus 1.5 is plus 120. I'm going to go with under 5.5 at even money in this game. I don't like the pick, but I like to go with value. Now I'm going to go through the leaderboard for the Players' Championship. I think I'm going to do top 5 and then notables because I need to get moving on some time. There's a big tie at top, so we're just going to go over who's in first, and I'll go through notables. With score of 1 under Russell Knox, Kramer Hickok, Harold Varner III, B.U. Hostler, Tommy Fleetwood, Walter Zalatoris, Mito Pereira, Maverick Githile, Richie Wierenski, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, Patrick Rogers. Tied for 13th at even, Aaron Weiss, Kevin Strimman, Roger Sloan, Sanjay Tony Fino, Adam Scott, Matt Jones, Joaquin Neiman, Evan Van Ryan, Ryan Palmer, Cam Smith. Tied for 26th at 1 over Brian Harmon, Charlie Hoffman, Kyle Stanley, Doc Ryman, Webb Simpson, Cam Champ, Luis Olson. Tied for 34th at 2 under Lucas Hodges and Adam Schenk. And 36th with 3 over is Wyndham Clark. All right, now we're going to recap last night's episode of The Masked Singer. It was a fun show. There's 3 teams, the good, the bad, and the ugly. 5 performers went. 2 from Team Good, 1 from Team Cuddly, and 2 from Team Bad. First up from Team Cuddly was Thingamabob. There were clues about Hotel Cali. There was a bulldog in the clue. Maybe there's a connection in a cannon. There's like a net, like a butterfly catching net. A tackle box. There was a bell, and there's an eagle, so that makes somebody think maybe Philadelphia. And they performed Wanted, Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. I'm not giving away first impression guesses until each performer's unmasked. The panelists don't do that anymore, amazingly enough. Ken went with James Hetfield, Jenny went with Chris Jericho, and Robin went with Terrell Owens. Next up from Team Good, McTerrier, there's a candle. There is a bunch of blue towels. There's a red cakes. There was an axe with a star, a gold record. And then there are signs on the towel saying the Terry Towel. And this person performed Working for the Weekend by Loverboy. And his mask fell off after the performance, but luckily no one saw who it was. Ken guessed Mike Myers. Jenny guessed Ewing McGregor. And Robin guessed Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Next up from Team Bad, the Cyclops. There's a bunch of stuffed animals. There's a compass. There was those balls you see in a playpen at like McDonald's or something. There's a cowboy hat. There are eye drops that said 4 ounces, so number 4 might be a hint. There was a comic book with a number 1 on it. And this person performed My Sacrifice by Creed. Jenny went with William Zapka. Nicole said Danny McBride. And Robin said Rob Dyrdek. Next up from Team Good was Firefly. There was a program. There was a picture of Tyler Perry. There was a phone charger in there. There was a little thing of the Statue of Liberty. So there's a New York clue. A lot of hints towards comedy. And there was a mic too, like a stand-up mic. And this person performed Ain't Nobody by Chaka Khan. Then she chokes on stage. And then she had to stop her performance abruptly. And then later on the show, she came back and performed after Ram went. And she was phenomenal. Ken Junk suggested Alicia Keys. Jenny said Aisha Taylor and Monica as possible guesses. And then Ram went last. There was a theater sign that said Macbeth on it, which was weird. There were antlers, a lot of sports clues, football clues, shower. There was a referee with the touchdown single. There was a piggy bank, and then there's quarters dropping, so maybe it's a quarterback. He mentions following his dad's footsteps, and there was a horse. And Ram performed I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick. Jenny suggested Jim Harbaugh. That would be funny. Ken Jong said Matt Stafford, and Robin said Peyton Manning. And who went home? McTerrier. Ken guessed Mike Myers. Robin said Flea. Nicole said Ewing McGregor. Jenny said Jeff Ross. My first impression and final guess was Joel Madden of Good Charlotte, because I thought it was somebody from a band that really hasn't been around in a long time. So I went with Joel Madden because I got the anthem vibes. And who was it? Duff Goldman of the Food Network. It was a pleasant surprise to see him on the show. He is the executive chef of Charm City Cake Shop on the show Ace of Cakes. And he's been all over the place and really known for being on the Food Network Challenge. So, nobody got it. So it was a pleasant surprise to everyone. Alrighty. Now I'll move on to news and notes for today. I am going to try to be super duper quick here with this segment. Baseball is threatening to cancel another week of games. I think it's very likely that they do so after they did not agree to a deal yet. So we shall see how this plays out. So they did cancel more games, as opening day postponed again to April 14th, with the second week of baseball season canceled. But overnight, it was reported that the sides were still talking on some parameters and whatnot, but we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. The U.S. government's working on the Brittany Griner situation, as Rep. Colin Allard says administration is working hard on potential solution for Griner star, WNBA star Brittany Griner detained in Russia. Tiger Woods inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame by his daughter Sam, which was pretty neat. After training Russell Wilson, the Seahawks released Bobby Wagner. And the three other NFC West teams, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Cardinals, are all expected to have interest. And then the big trade that happened yesterday was that Carson Wentz got sent from the Colts to the Washington Commanders for a couple of third-round picks. That's crazy that the Colts gave up a first for Wentz. But Washington gives up 2/3. I think the Colts did what they tried to do, what they could get for him. I think that's the most that they're going to get, because there's a lot of leadership issues with Wentz. There are some people that were frustrated with his lack of leadership. So that's a somewhat surprising trade. But it's not surprising of who acquired him, because it would be so Washington to acquire Carson Wentz and talk themselves into, should have been MVP in 2017, but he blew out his Achilles. He didn't even win that Super Bowl with the Eagles. That was Nick Foles. And now the Colts are looking at other quarterbacks, including Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's going to be interesting. And And then some notes involving the Seahawks-Wilson divorce, as Wilson felt his legacy was being damaged and teammates thought that Wilson checked out. And then he thanked the Seahawks in a tweet. And by the way, the Commanders will pay Wentz's full salary. The Packers are not talking about a Jordan Love trade, despite Aaron Rodgers' return. Cowboys are opened the trading Amari Cooper. I predicted that Cooper was going to get either traded or released on the predictions segment from the other day. Cardinals cut Jordan Hicks. So that's unfortunate. So they have to fill that hole on their team. Real Madrid knocked out PSG out of the Champions League by a score of 3-1. So that was surprising. We talked about Buddy Boeheim being suspended after a flagrant act against Florida State. John Wall opened to a Wizards reunion as Beal wouldn't dismiss a potential reunion with his former teammate. Maple Leafs have 2 contract extensions, Kyle Clifford and Carl Dahlstrom. Clifford, 2-year deal, and Dahlstrom, 1-year, 2-way. Devin Booker came back for the Suns against the Heat, and the Suns clinched a playoff spot last night, so they're the first team in the league to clinch a playoff spot. And Brandon Ingram out 7 to 10 days with a mild right hamstring strain. So that's a big loss for the Pelicans. And 2 non-sports related news. Vice President Kamala Harris lands in Poland to show unity hours after airstrike hurts 17 at the Ukrainian maternity hospital. And then the House okays a $13.6 billion for Ukraine in huge spending bill. So more donations and whatnot from our country are going to go towards Ukraine. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. There's a lot of good ones in terms of where I should go. Yesterday's best bet was a winner as I took under 230 in the Raptors-Spurs game. And today, I'm actually going to go with an over in an NBA game. I'm going to go with the Warriors-Nuggets over 226.5. I just think that with Curry back, I think this is going to be an offense game. Is Curry, Jokic, Clay. So I'm going to go over 226.5 between the Warriors and the Nuggets as my best bet of the day. All right, so there you have it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today, looking ahead to tomorrow and the weekend. So it's a big Friday show, and we'll preview a little bit of American Idol for Sunday as well. And obviously news and notes and best bet. And then tonight I'm going to drop the Ivy League predictions show, which won't be a long podcast at all. So I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.